In part 3, we get to the heart of the leadership system, the issues of selecting, retaining, and developing individual leaders, not just at executive level, but in all the important leadership roles throughout these dispersed and stretched organizations. We reflected on the attributes that individuals need. The reality of these stretched and fragile leadership systems in many of our iNGOs creates a hugely demanding context for any individual. What are the attributes of a good leader in our sector? What symptoms if these attributes are weak or missing? And how can we build a pipeline of strong leaders across all our leadership system?
We decided to look outside at what we can learn from some of the ideas and messages from well-known leaders and gurus, some heroic leaders of the past, a few impressive leaders of our times, a splattering of academic thinkers, and finally, some leaders from the world of sport. What can we glean looking across all of these wise people?
Firstly, there is considerable alignment on many of the attributes that seem to be the most important in any good leader. When we try to group these attributes, they fall very loosely into three broad areas. The first, which we call innate attributes, are likely to be evident very early in our lives, even during childhood. The next grouping, which we refer to as foundational leadership skills, these we tend to develop during adolescence and through our early careers, and of course, we can continue to develop throughout our lives. The top category we have labeled leadership magic and include attributes like courage, determination, charisma, and authenticity.
So, you might say bravely, began to flesh out a leadership attribute pyramid building on these three grouping of attributes. However, the three expand to 5 when we add in the related but important and tangible attributes around technical expertise and know-how. And finally, fit. That is, the fit between an individual's goals and priorities with those of a specific organization at a point in time.
Bringing all of this together, this leadership attribute pyramid is intended as an aid to help us reflect on the leaders we have today, how they match up, and especially to help select and develop a pipeline of leaders for the future. The concept of building from the bottom up is central to our thinking, analogous to the logic underpinning Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That is, the upper layers are only relevant if the underlying layers of attributes are strong.
Let's look at each of the 5 layers, starting at the base of the pyramid. At the bottom are the innate attributes that we believe are with us from childhood, such as humility and empathy. These attributes are crucial for building trust and earning respect. Built on this are the foundation leadership skills that we begin to develop through our teenage years and early in our careers: teamwork, communication, decision-making, and empowering others. Next are the technical skills and know-how. In our view, a crucial and too often overlooked layer for any good leader in our sector. The 4th layer is around fit. That is, do the priorities and goals of the individual and organization align? At the summit is what we term leadership magic. For example, attributes such as determination, authenticity, courage, charisma. In reality, we believe that this leadership magic can take many shapes and forms and can emerge not from some unique attribute in itself, but sometimes in the attainment of a level of excellence from the attributes at the base of the pyramid.
We emphasize again that the attributes at the top of the pyramid are important, but only matter if the lower levels are strong. And, as an aside, we believe the first 2 levels align well with some of the feminist leadership principles which have begun to be adopted in several NGOs. But What are some of the likely symptoms if some of the leaders in your organization are weak or deficient in one or more of these layers? Recognize any of this?
And to conclude part 3 on individual leaders and individual leadership, what are our most important takeaways? Again, numbering continued from previous section. Number 9, recruiters beware. Interviews, despite best efforts, can be overly influenced, sometimes hoodwinked by attributes at the top of the pyramid. That is, apparent magic and fit, to the detriment of attributes of levels 1, 2, and 3. Number 10, beware also on assessing leadership magic. We believe it can come in many shapes and forms, and sometimes may be more about excellence in some of the foundation attributes rather than something completely unique. Number 11, continuity is important. If we don't make the effort and investment in a long-term leadership talent pipeline, we will end up parachuting in too many external hires to fill key roles, taking a gamble on fit and magic at the expense of innate attributes or foundational leadership skills at the base of the pyramid. Yes, external hires strategically placed can be invaluable for fresh perspectives and missing know-how, but in our sector, where soft power and relationships are so essential in getting things done, excessive reliance on external hires, especially for CEO, SG roles, can be a big gamble. Number 12, teams, teamwork, and combinations are vitally important, even for the key SG or CEO roles. In our sector, it's likely to be impossible to find all of the skills and expertise in one individual. Number 13, technical competence of individual leaders matters and is too often undervalued. Good leaders need not be the most technically gifted in their sphere, but they need to be credible and respected. Number 14, pay careful attention to the performance culture. Does each new appointment help or undermine your goal of building a high performance culture? Number 15, finally, boards beware. Your behaviors, appointments, and decisions set the tone.